What's up guys, Jay here, and today I have a bit of a unique video that is a lot different than what I normally do. So Ghost Ship actually just today, as of the recording of this, released a statement and a post talking about the November maintenance update. And based on what they are talking about, looks like it's going to be quite a very big change that people are excited for. So I thought it would be fun to sort of read through this and get my genuine first impression as to what is going on and to what is coming out. Keep in mind, this is happening on the Steam version, and although I play on the console version, I am hoping there are going to be similar changes to this coming to the Windows or console version at some point in time soon. But just keep that in mind that all of this is going to the Steam version as of right this moment. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello miners! November is just around the corner, which means it's almost time for the first maintenance update that we mentioned in our recent roadmap. We wanted to give you a quick overview of what we're focusing on, just so you know what to expect. Among smaller tweaks and fixes, we will be using this to introduce two bigger features, the first being a toggle option for seasonal content like ROCKPOX, and the second being a new weapon maintenance reward system. Now, what in the world does that entail? Let's take those two big ones first, and we'll cover the rest down below. Okay, so already we're in for some very interesting stuff here. Introducing a toggle option for seasonal content. We heard about your concerns about this season's lithophage events getting stale, so addressing that is our main focus for this update. We'll be adding an optional checkbox at the end of the performance pass for those of you that want to put your game into a season neutral state until season 5 arrives. So I guess this is saying that we don't need to necessarily worry about the seasonal content after we have completed the season pass. Interesting. Once you complete the season 4 performance pass, you'll have the option to disable seasonal content in Deep Rock Galactic. You can always switch it back on, of course. Okay, so that's very interesting. So we have to at least finish the season pass before we can turn it off. So that's an interesting trade-off. If you uncheck the box, here's what happens. The lithophage corruption zone will disappear from the mission map. The chance of encountering lithophage outbreak warnings will become equal to other warning conditions like rival presence. ROCKPOX enemies will not spawn outside of lithophage warnings and events. Okay, that is a very interesting choice that they decided to go with, and one that I think a lot of people are going to be very happy about. As they said, yes, lithophage is getting extremely stale at this particular point, and not too many people are really happy about going up against it. So the ability to just sort of disable it and make it so that way we don't have to go through this anymore is going to be big for a lot of people. So ultimately, very good choice. Of course, doing this will make it much harder to obtain play carts, as these come from meteor and corruption events. And it'll also be harder to complete lithophage outbreak seasonal challenges, as these require the lithophage outbreak warning. Again, all of this is completely optional and you can always turn it back on. And as you can see here, we have the image for the checkbox that we will be able to toggle if we want season 4 content or not. You've defended the planet, your colleagues, and our profit margins against the ROCKPOX menace. You've shown a steely resolve against the worst this plague could throw at you. From lithophage outbreaks to corruptors, many dwarves fell where you triumphed, and for that you've earned our respects. In recognition of your hard work, management has approved that you be relieved of your lithophage duties should you choose to do so. So that's honestly really cool. I do kind of like the fact that we still have the option to turn it back on if we do want to, because there are some people out there who are like me, who are psychopaths, that don't really mind going through lithophage too much. So the fact that if you like lithophage, you can still play it. If you don't like it, you don't have to turn it on. Very nice. And this is a welcome addition. And I hope that they kind of keep this framework for the rest of the seasons going forward. That way, if for some reason the seasonal content is stale in season 5 or 6 or however, whatever happens after that, we can just turn it off if we don't want to do it after we've already completed the season pass. Again, remember, you do have to fully complete the season pass to level 100 before you can do this. So again, very good, and I'm glad that they're actually giving recognition to the fact that people are realizing that this corruption is kind of stale at this point. So now for the next big thing, new weapon maintenance reward systems. Okay, we said these maintenance updates wouldn't add any new content, but we've got a surprise for you. We're introducing the weapon maintenance system to reward proficiency with different weapons and give some extra shine to your favorite firearms. No tricky gameplay specific gimmicks here, just a straightforward reward for playing with the guns you like best. Once you earn enough XP with a specific weapon equipped, you'll unlock a sweet new paint job for that gun, so you can show your friends how much you love shooting. So this is very interesting, and we actually get a little bit of an image, and it looks really good. Essentially what it appears to be is, as we use different weapons, we will unlock various paint jobs and maybe even down the road extra frameworks as it goes on. and we can kind of see how it's going to be laid out with the progression bars. We can see that the gunner has finished off using his lead storm and his coil gun, so we can obviously see which guns he likes to use the best. The engineer is very close to upgrading his warthog and his grenade launcher, so this is a very cool thing. This is another aspect of progression that I think people are going to like. People always love to kit out their weapons with as much cool stuff as they want, and this is just another avenue that they can do that. And ultimately, I am very excited to see how this works out. This is going to be a seasonal feature, so with every new season in the future, there'll be special paint jobs you can earn for every weapon. We're also making this retroactive, so when it launches in November, you'll have 4 paint jobs to earn for each one for every season up to now. The new weapon mastery color schemes are for weapon mastery level 1, Yellow Jacket, for weapon mastery 2, Cobalt Crackle, for weapon mastery 3, Heroic, and for weapon mastery 4, Grasshopper. Weapons free, miners. And here we see a little graphic of, I'm guessing, all of the color schemes that we had just been told about. And these look really, really, really good. And again, I really love the idea that we're getting another additional aspect of customization added and progression as well, because that's something people really love to see. So ultimately, very, very excited for this. If we keep reading on, we see what's in the rest of the update. On top of these 2 features, we got a number of things we're working on for this update. Here's the rest of the to-do list. Number 1, nerfing the Stingtail. Can we get an amen on this one? We're increasing the cooldown on its grab attack, especially after a successful grab, so you won't be getting yoinked all over the place as much. We'll also be tweaking its health and elemental resistances, so it's less of a pain to take down solo. I am so happy about this. Everybody has been talking about the Stingtail. Everybody knows that the Stingtail is very oppressive, is incredibly tough to deal with, and the fact that it can chain grab you like it's nothing, and they are actually rectifying this and giving us a true nerf to the Stingtail's power. So I'm very, very happy about that. Next, making the septic spreader projectiles shoot downable. I can't think of the right word for it, so we're running with shoot downable. You know what I mean. So I guess so I understand exactly what he means by this. Essentially, if the septic spreader is shooting at a projectile, I'm assuming we're going to be able to shoot it out of the air, so that way it doesn't hit us. Now, when we break said projectile, is it still going to splatter like it does when it normally hits? I'm not really sure, but this does mean that we'll be able to essentially interrupt the septic spreader's projectiles, which I think is a pretty decent change. I didn't think that the septic spreaders were as oppressive as the Stingtails, as much my personal opinion. However, I do still think that this is a pretty good change that I don't think anybody's going to be too upset about. ROCKPOX mitigation. We've been looking at simple ways to make ROCKPOX effects less harsh, like making it easier to break out of when you are stuck. Final tweaks still to be determined here. Okay, so they're essentially making ROCKPOX easier to break out of. Maybe the button mashing, which in my opinion isn't really that intuitive, will finally be fixed, and we won't need to do it quite as much. I'm not 100% certain exactly what they mean by this, but essentially they're making ROCKPOX not quite as oppressive, which again, nobody's going to be upset about. Weapon and overclock balance tweaks. Just a bit of routine balancing for different weapons and overclocks. These are shaping up to be mostly buffs, so don't worry about your favorite gun getting nerfed to bits. Okay, so we can expect to see several overclock buffs and upgrades coming in the near future, which again, no one's really going to be too upset about. Then we have bug fixes. There is a sizable queue of bugs to address. I see what they did there. But we're still working on which ones are the highest priority for this update. So again, various bug fixes, the simple things that people expect from big updates like this. And lastly, typo corrections. Nothing too special here, but we figured we mentioned it anyway. I'm not sure exactly what typos they're talking about. If anybody does know what they are, let me know in the comments, because as far as I can tell, I can't think of any major typos off the top of my head. In any event, it's still nice that they are talking about that. We're still working on implementing all of this, and we're aiming to have everything finished for a mid-November release. When the update drops, we'll share more information about specific balance tweaks, ROCKPOX reductions, and bug fixes. Thanks to everyone who shared their opinion for our plans for Deep Rock Galactic lately. We understand that all those feelings, from frustration to excitement, come from a place of passion. We're glad you care enough about the game to weigh in. Hope everybody is doing well, rock and stone. All right, so let's talk about main takeaways to gather from this big, massive update and big, huge announcement that they're giving us. Number 1 is we won't have to deal with Season 4 content anymore unless we want to. That alone is fantastic. As the community has made aware, the ROCKPOX and the lithophage is kind of getting stale, and not too many people are liking going up against it at this particular point, because we're pretty much at a year. I believe, since we started fighting ROCKPOX in general, if I'm not mistaken. And people are understandably tired of fighting it at this point, even myself included. And I do still enjoy fighting the ROCKPOX, but the fact that we now have the ability to opt out of it if we want to, it is a very nice change and a good adjustment for people who are just tired of fighting it. So that alone is fantastic. Then with the weapon maintenance, that is something I was not expecting, something that I don't think anybody saw coming, but is truly a good step in a very good direction because it gives us more ways to progress, more things to work towards, and just a better sense that we are working towards some really good stuff. And the fact that, again, it is seasonal, so we'll be able to unlock a whole bunch of even more stuff. I think one of my favorite things about this update is that they're talking about seasonal content as a whole, and essentially everything that they talked about is stuff that's going to be applied hopefully to every season going forward. So that all is a very good thing. So there you have my thoughts on this post about the mid-November maintenance update. I just kind of wanted to let you guys know what was going on and give my genuine first reaction. So this video is not nearly as scripted out as normal, but let me know if you guys like that kind of content. Let me know if you guys want me to keep you updated with updates as they come out. And again, keep in mind that this is on the Steam version. I do not know off the top of my head, and I will do more research if it is coming out to the console version as well, or the Windows version, whatever you want to call it. I'm assuming it's not going to be coming out on the console version at the same time. We might have to wait a little while for this, but I could be wrong. You never know. But in any event, I hope you guys found this video informative and helpful. If you did, please give it a like because it tells me what types of videos you guys want to see. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about this, and I will see you in the next video.